Hey, we've been talking all week about building a team, and today we're going to talk about the benefits. So while the introduction plays, why don't you think of a couple of benefits and see if your list matches ours? All that and more, and the answers to those questions on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom. Happy, what's today? Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Yes. Hey.
Happy Wednesday to you as well, Bob. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
All
doing
right.
well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you get wet yesterday on the lacrosse field?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay. All right.
Till the end of the day. Last game, of course. Just.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're going to get wet, better the last game than the first game.
Yeah, we didn't even get wet. It was just I don't know. After 6 games, in the 7th game, at the end of the game, when 13-year-olds are talking about the officiating, it's a little frustrating. So that was the way it ended, which that was.
Okay. Think I hit a nerve. Didn't mean to.
Nah, it wasn't you. It was just the way it was. Thank God there wasn't an 8th game. Let's put it that way.
All
right, everyone. Good morning and welcome to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast, where Bob and I will have a conversation around a topic each week. This week's topic, as Bob mentioned, is building a team. And today we'll talk about the benefits. And as we have that conversation, if you have thoughts or ideas you'd like to share, please feel free to put them in the comments of whatever social media you happen to be following us on: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or
LinkedIn Live.
That was
and
a little
everyone's
more
now
aggressive.
looking at me.
That was a little more aggressive. That you went a little more like growly.
Yeah, I haven't had my coffee yet.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good without coffee. Anyhow, if you please feel free to share your thoughts and ideas, because we know that it'll add value to our show. And at the end of our conversation, Bob and I will each offer our one thing, our today's antidote. That thing that we hope will help you today, or maybe somewhere down the road, find your next step along your own unique pathway to success. You can also feel free to share your antidote, your one thing, because likely what you share may have value for someone else, and it will be different and unique from what we have to share. So please feel free to put your thoughts and ideas in the comments. So now we'll start our show like we do every show. We'll do our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
I am celebrating the ability of people to adapt to changing situations. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Gas prices have gone up a lot in the last couple of months. And I've noticed in talking to people about that, at first it's like, oh, this is horrible, it's really bad. But now they've adapted. They're driving less, they're combining trips, they don't care, whatever it is. And I think that's part of what we look at when we're renegades, is adapting to changing situations. And I don't think we take enough time to celebrate the fact that it takes some effort to adapt to a changing situation.
Fair enough.
How about you?
You don't think it's just because they want to complain about something? Like me complaining about 13-year-olds and sideline coaches?
It could be. It's also, it's getting to be the hot days of summer when everything just seems more complicated. Just there's that humidity weight that's on us that I think affects people adversely.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
What about you? What are you celebrating?
I am celebrating that today is the start of the last lacrosse event for the summer season. Okay. And while it is 2 through 4 days, and then I have to officiate one day, the summer season is coming to a close, which it has been fun, and it's been long, and I've got some other things I want to get to. So
okay, like that book?
Shift. Like that book, yes, indeed.
Okay, all right.
That's what I'm celebrating today.
I like that. I like that. So 4 more days, meaning what? Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday is the last day?
Saturday's the last day of. Then Sunday, I just have to go on the field and officiate at another event.
So how are you celebrating the successful end of this?
Well, since it's not over yet,
No.
At the completion, I will celebrate. Today, I am just celebrating the fact that it is the last day. So that's my celebration. I'm sharing.
You always push me to have a celebration in mind for something I do. So what's your celebration in mind for when it finishes on Sunday?
Is that I am going to confirm a trip that Liz and I are going to take at the end of August.
Oh, okay. Where are you going? Or you can't tell us?
No, I can tell you. I think we're going to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Oh, you're going to go to Dolly World.
We will make a visit to Dolly World. I am certain about that.
There you go. Have you been there before?
We have. Liz has been there a couple of times. She's a fan favorite.
Okay, it's a lovely area. Gorgeous in the Tennessee mountains.
Yeah, it's nice because we usually get like a cabin that's kind of secluded a little bit, and I will just go and maybe work on my book a little bit. And
I was going to say, it sounds like the perfect writer's garret.
Maybe, although I would imagine we'll have some things to do, and there'll be some downtime that will be taken advantage of. That's for sure.
Okay, well deserved. Yes. So, Tom, we've been talking about building a team this week. And today we're talking about the benefits. And we talked about the challenges on Monday. Yesterday, we talked about why it matters. And today, some of the benefits. Do you have some of the benefits in mind?
I do. I think I ended yesterday's show. So if people didn't catch that, you might want to go back and listen to. We talked about why it matters is, my one thing was the value that others provide. So I think that's one of the benefits. I think the other, there's some others that come to mind as I think about it. One is, you're usually able to do more. Mm-hmm. You're leveraging time, which is one of those things that we all have a finite amount of. And I think that that's one of the things you forget about. I think you also leverage skills. As we've talked about in the independence or dependence or one of those days, the value of having others who have skill sets that can do those things that you may not be as much a part of your toolkit. And I think that allows you to do the things that you are better at, or that you were able to do a little differently than others, and the things that you like to do. It's funny. I usually talk to people who lead teams and say, well, you're the leader. You should be doing the things that, one, you are more successful, you have more skills at, and two, the things that you like to do, because you get to make some of those choices. And so I think that that's the other thing, is it allows you to focus on those things that you are most effective at. So I think those are two of the things I think about a team. I think there's also the whole social aspect. There is no doubt that even people who are on teams over the last 2.5 years, yet we're only meeting with them virtually. That was one way to have some sort of connection with other people. And I think the other is just the human interaction that I think comes usually with a team. You get to experience all of the various things that come along with that, because typically among teams, not everyone is on the same page or holds the same values or is interested in the same things. And so that always creates some challenges. And yet the opportunity to interact and engage, to me, is one of those valuable things that being a part of some sort of team adds to what we're doing.
I like all those. I would add that I think you also leverage creativity and problem solving when you have a group of people trying to tackle an issue, because they bring their own perspectives into the center, and then you can sort of morph, and a little bit of what you know and a little bit of what I know and a little bit of what a third person knows can lead to a solution or something that is greater than any one of the three of us could have come up with on our own. And you see it with brainstorming. How many times do you have the whiteboard and everyone's just throwing up ideas, and literally throwing up ideas is a good way to put it, actually. And then someone says, well, that's crazy. And then someone else goes, wait a second, hold on. That might not be so crazy. What if? And I think the what if game can be really powerful with the team, especially if you've built the team in a manner where people feel free and open to exchange ideas without worry about repercussions, without the potential of, that was a bad idea. I've worked with some groups where someone's like, no, they'll never budget for that. Well, and it's like, no, hold up, time out. We're not talking about the budget. We're shooting ideas right now. That let's have every idea. Then later we can go and have the budget discussion. And I think that's part of the power of a team, is to be able to have those broader discussions to take the sum of the parts, which is often greater.
Absolutely. And I think it gives you a chance, you get a chance to rely on others, which I think is kind of what you're saying, and a little bit of what I was saying, that you don't have when you're by yourself and you're trying to figure it out. You're kind of left with your own devices, I guess. And I think,
and limitations, right?
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we all have them. I think also that there's something about not the value. I guess it's the value. Maybe it's the enjoyment of, it's one thing when we can celebrate by ourselves, as we talk about all the time. And yet I think there's something, so I think it would be different if every morning I got up and I just wrote down my celebrations.
Right.
Or we get on the show and we share them with each other and with whoever happens to watch this episode. So that, I think there's a difference in that, being part of sharing your value among a team and celebrating, sometimes makes the celebrations even more enjoyable. And sometimes it helps the disappointments feel a little less disappointing. Because I think that you have a group of people that you worked hard on and you're able to say, yeah, we did this, didn't turn out the way we thought. And yet we're not left to go by ourselves. If I felt like something didn't go as planned, I could definitely sit at my desk by myself and work myself into some challenges. When we have a team around us, there's the opportunity that someone there will find the value in what everyone else sees as a disappointment and allow us to change our perspective. It's interesting. I was talking with an official friend yesterday.
An official friend as opposed to an unofficial friend?
Yes, a lacrosse official friend.
Sorry, it was there. I took it.
Fair enough.
I'm an unofficial friend, right?
With more comments like that, you might move to an unofficial friend.
Good comeback.
So this person has been on an injury. They've been dealing with an injury for the last 4 or 5 months that hasn't allowed them to officiate. And yesterday they were able to get back on the field to sort of test out the injury that they had. And, they called, I think, because they were very frustrated. They weren't able to run the way they had in the past. They didn't feel as good as they did. They knew their stride was different. All those things that could lead to a level of frustration. And, as I like to do, I go back and say, well, why don't we think about it this way? Like, what went well? You actually were able to be on the field. You weren't able to do that a week ago or 3 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago or 10 weeks ago. So that's progress. You likely were, even though it wasn't for you at 100%, likely your 60 or 70% or 50 or 40 or whatever it was, sometimes is as effective as some other people's 100%, just because of what I know about the official. And I think that's something else, what didn't go as planned. And I think obviously they thought what didn't go as planned was that they weren't as in good a shape. And I think there's an opportunity to understand that, see where you've come from, and then do differently, and I think one of the things that I think they thought about differently was what their expectations were. I think for many of us, when we come back from something like that or restart something that we used to do and used to be pretty successful at, we're never where we were. And yet we have the expectation that you're going to walk on the field or go to the next presentation or go to the next speaking engagement or go to the next widget that you have to create. and feel like it's just going to be like riding a bike. You're going to get right back on and be where you were. And I think setting that kind of an expectation makes it really easy to be frustrated. And so I think the opportunity to be a part of a team usually finds someone who sees things a little differently and allows you to not let the highs get too high or the lows get too low.
I like all that. Wow. I like the highs not get too high or the lows not get too low. That can really keep us moving forward without being overwhelmed or frustrated or stuck.
Or overconfident.
Or
which in some ways is stuck. It's just another way to say it. You can get stuck.
So what's your one thing today, Tom? When we talk about the benefits of building a team.
Yeah. I think to me, the benefits are that you have the opportunity to gain all of those things that you could not do alone. And and whether it's, like I said yesterday, the value, whether it's different perspectives, different knowledge, different experience, all of those things, just a socialization, all of those things that you don't have when you're alone. And again, there are challenges that we talked about on Monday. And if you think, wow, building a team is the most amazing thing ever, you might want to go back and listen to Monday, because we did share some challenges that are created. And I think that it just helps us remain sort of centered. Is that, sometimes it's great to do things by ourselves and not have a team. And there are also some challenges to that. Just like with a team, there are plenty of opportunities when you create a team, like we talked about today. And there are also challenges that come along with that as well. And so I think that the one thing for me is that it allows you to have all these other experiences that you can't have alone.
I like that. I'm going to add to it that my one thing is that the sum is often greater than the parts. And not always, but often. And I think that sum can be a very powerful force to move towards whatever success is for you and that team.
I would agree. I think you put those things together, and there's opportunity. There are definitely opportunities there.
There's synergy, Tom. Let's pull out the early 90s word. Synergy. That's it.
Was that an early 90s word?
I think so.
Interesting. There's no doubt that there, and I would say, like everything, is I always encourage people to remember that there are a lot of benefits, lots of opportunities that are created. And as I believe with everything, there are also obstacles that go in front of it. And so as long as we're aware of all of those, we can maybe stay in the middle, centered a little bit. That allows us to really leverage both so that the team can move forward and we can find the success that we are seeking. So lots of benefits.
If you were trying to build a team, if you are struggling with a team, if you want to build a team, if team doesn't even make sense to you, Tom and I would love to talk to you about how we might help you. We have this thing called the Renegade Success Network, where you can actually join this group of leaders, managers, other people, solopreneurs, all trying to find their unique pathway towards success. And a lot of things come up around building a team, whether it's how to work with other employees. I was just coaching someone last week on a really difficult situation because someone had sent an anonymous letter complaining about this leader to a whole bunch of people. And we talked about how to address that. Also worked with solopreneurs who are like, I need to find a team of subcontractors that can help me do some things that I'm signing a contract to do. It's everything and anything. So if that's of interest to you, you can go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. It'll be in the show notes if you're looking at this on a podcast, so you don't have to remember it, but you can remember renegadesuccessnetwork.com. That's renegadesuccessnetwork.com.
That's
Sorry, I went to radio.
Sounded like 90s radio right there.
It did. Okay, traffic and weather coming up on the 9s.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being a part of our show today. If you have one thing you'd like to share, please feel free to put it in the comments. If you happen to be listening to our podcast, which we greatly appreciate, and know that there's no opportunity to comment there, please feel free to join us inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where you can share those thoughts and ideas, because we'll be talking about building a team all week. And we know that there is someone in there likely searching for exactly what you have to share, the value you have to offer. So please feel free to join us there. You can also download our app, the Renegade Success Network app. Just go to Google Play or the Apple Store. The App Store in Apple. That's always a hard one for me to.
That is a hard one to say. I let you do it.
Yeah, because you can access all of those things right from your phone, anywhere and everywhere that you are. So feel free to download that. So we look forward to seeing you either in the community on the app, on the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegading you. It's Wednesday. It's worth it. Middle of the week, embrace the renegading you.
Absolutely. It's a great time to think about where you've been, maybe check in on what's been going on, and check up on what your progress is towards where you want to be by the end of the week. There is still time to achieve the goals that you had set. So we look forward to seeing you around. Thanks so much for being a part of it. Go out and make it a great day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.